if you received this month's resort trades, you probably read our article. Let's see if I can get it to show up, about how Aaron Stewart, son of the late PGA Tour icon and World Golf Hall of Famer Payne Stewart, how Aaron got involved in timeshare. Marge Lennon, who is, I believe, in our audience today, wrote a very nice article. Thank you, Marge. And Aaron has a great story to tell. He will be of interest not only to seasoned resort professionals who maybe want to up your game, but also to maybe new entrants into the professional world who may want to see if timeshare resorts might be a good career path for them. But at any rate, Aaron kind of made it look easy. He rose from an entry-level position as senior, or entry-level position rather, to become senior VP of sports marketing and for Diamond Resorts. And he earned the 2021 ARDA Circle of Excellence, while still quite young himself. So hello, I'm Sharon Scott Wilson, and we're so pleased today to present you with our first edition of Meet the Leaders. I want to invite anybody who feels like they have a good partner on your team who is becoming tomorrow's leader or is already today's leader. Send your thoughts to me, would you? And we'll have a reporter interview them and do an article. But anyway, today's leader is Aaron Stewart. And Aaron is responsible for the execution and growth of the Diamond Resorts Tournament of Champions, which is a fully sanctioned LPGA event combining LPGA winners with world-class celebrities. It's really a lot of fun. I've attended myself in the past. And anyway, congratulations. And not only on winning the ACE Award, but also for the birth of Banks Aaron Stewart.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Yeah, Banks was born just after, actually the Friday after the tournament ended this year. And just had his 6-month half birthday the other day.
Oh, well, congratulations. So tell us a story about how you first heard about Diamond Resorts.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually first heard about Diamond Resorts through my friend at the time, Mike Flasky. At the time, Mike had just started with Diamond Resorts the year prior. And I was finishing up at SMU in Dallas, finishing up college out there in December of 2011. And when I came back home, actually for the first 6 months, I worked on the Tavistock Cup, which was a tournament held between Isleworth and Lake Nona back in the day. And so I worked at that golf tournament, and then Mike approached me about a new mentorship program that he was going to get going with Diamond that was basically centered around taking young professionals that hadn't really been exposed in the timeshare industry prior, but were college educated, recent graduates, and then it put us on a 9 to 10 month, I think, intensive, pretty much training course where we went around the company to different resorts and went through basically every level of that a marketing director would eventually oversee. And so we had different segments that were focused on in-house versus off-property. And then after each segment, we would have to present to our executive team. And they would decide whether you had learned enough to move on to the next segment.
What was your major at SMU?
I was applied physiology and sports management at SMU.
Oh, but not marketing.
No, it was not marketing.
So, well, that's really interesting. So I understand you suggested that guests' pre-arrival contacts at the resort should should stay with whoever's greeting them should stay with the guests during their check-in process. So what gave you that idea, and what happened as a result?
Well, after kind of seeing the different levels or touch points, right, from when a guest books their reservation or an owner, right, books their reservation using their points to their actual arrival at the resort. How many times do we reach out to them? How many times do we touch them? So at that point, I figured once they arrive on site at the resort, if they could just have one person to go through for their entire stay, that may make it a little bit easier, right? A little more personalized. And so from that idea, it kind of, when I presented it at the end of the in-house segment, they kind of took that and then expanded into what has now become our VIP check-in. And, you know, we'll have it's reserved for all of our owners and members, and we'll have different lounges at each of our resorts for it. So it's kind of cool to see what it's grown into from the initial idea.
Maybe they could call it the Stewart VIP program.
I hope not.
So what was it like to handle Diamond's OPC program in Orlando when you were actually under 30? Although actually you look like you're still under 30.
I am not, unfortunately. It kind of keeps marching on. But yeah, managing the OPC program nationally was definitely kind of an eye-opening experience, right? Because I went from just completing the program to now all of these different programs around the country, they have their own managers, but then those managers are calling me asking questions, right? So it definitely, you know, it was trial by fire at times. It was like, you know, you had to learn as you go and pick it up, but it really taught me, because OPC is so different. It's such a wide range of people and talents that can really be successful in OPC. Had everything from people that have been doing it for 40 years to people that it was their first job out of high school, right? And you know, the goals of each person were completely different. So you had to learn that individual person's, you know, what motivated them and their reason why, their why for doing the job, right? Mm-hmm. So I think once I kind of figured out that it's just managing people. And so when you can kind of get to know people on a personal basis and figure out their personal why for doing something, then you know how to run the business, right? You know what they're motivated by, and you can base everything around that. So
I could see the connection with the sports marketing, I guess.
Yeah, it's like being on a team,
you have to learn you have to learn the
personality. Each person on a team is going to be motivated different ways. Each person responds to criticism different ways, right? So you have to know which person you got to put your arm around and kind of guide them through, and which person you've got to call out in front of the group so that they, you know, do what you know they're capable of. Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of work. For how many resorts were you handling at the time? And now with, I guess with the Hilton.
At the time we probably had, I'd say 30 OPC programs nationally. And so in each one, there was over 180, close to 200 employees in the OPC program plus. So,
wow. So after that, how did your career continue to take shape?
Right. So from there, it was a journey back west. You know, during the mentorship program, we spent a lot of time on the West Coast and developed a lot of close relationships out there. And so I actually got the opportunity after leading the OPC program for about 9 to 10 months. I got the opportunity to go out and run the Nevada marketing program. So there was 3 resorts that I oversaw in the Nevada region, and were responsible for $100+ million in sales. So, you know, it was that was even more like drinking from a fire hose at times, because now it's not only OPC, right? It's now the in-house programs, and you're dealing with my counterpart on the sales side is who you spend the most time with, and you're learning how to, which was really lucky for me because I'm still very close with that person. His name's Will McCoy. And he had just left the director of marketing role that I came in to fill, to move over to the sales side. So that was a big help for me, because him and I were able to work and kind of look at the whole process differently. And we made some changes that are still implemented throughout the company today. Wow.
Good for you guys. So going forward, we won't mention the Hilton acquisition necessarily, since I don't want to put you on the spot.
It's quite fresh. I don't have much information, so
right. But so I'd like to know a little bit about what it took to help manage the concerts and the events, because that struck me as an ingenious concept. And tell the audience a little bit about the concerts and events, like, who you invited.
During the Tournament of Champions, it's not only the golf tournament, right? It's unique in the fact that it is a winners only event for the LPGA. Then we bring in a celebrity field to play alongside them. And then on top of that, you've got 3 headline concerts throughout the week, or 3 nights of concerts, I should say. There's multiple concerts going on each night. So yeah, it's really become like a week-long party. It's not so much just a professional golf tournament. So that's it's all stemmed from the events of a lifetime and this experiential marketing platform that Diamond created, right? Where we looked at how do we enhance someone's vacation? How do we truly leave them with a lasting memory, right? Well, the rooms are going to be a part of that, right? Having a nice place to stay, that's going to play a part. But if you give them an experience that they experience with their loved ones or whoever they brought on that trip, then it's going to leave a much, much bigger impact on their lives, right? So from that, it was the Events of a Lifetime platform that kind of grew into what's now today become, we've got multiple musicians under contract that perform private shows for our owners and members throughout the year. It's grown into what is the Tournament of Champions now. And from that, in pre-COVID, we were doing 3,000 plus events of a lifetime a year in our various markets around the world.
Wow. Now, the events of a lifetime, did that include the concerts with the country stars?
Yes, it does.
I wanted to go to.
Pardon?
I wanted to go to so bad. I didn't.
Oh, well, that's right.
I guess I have to buy at Diamond, don't I?
They're just private concerts. We invite our owners and members to attend it. And then obviously the tournament sponsors and the players that are playing are invited. So it's a pretty special experience, and it's been a great part of it. This last year was definitely a challenge during COVID, trying to bring that many people together in one place. It had its challenges for sure, but that's an entirely different conversation, right? But yeah, right. It's a unique event, and for those that haven't gotten the chance to experience it, we are contracted with the LPGA right now through 2024. So it's going to be coming to the Central Florida area for the next 3 years at least in January. So if you haven't gotten a chance to experience it, definitely come out and see what it's all about. Oh, yeah. Well, that's my invitation. I'm coming. So what are your objectives for your career going forward? Well, right now I'm wanting to continue to kind of grow the tournament itself and make it kind of a staple in the Central Florida community, much the same way that the Arnold Palmer Invitational or Bay Hill Classic, as it used to be called, has always been for me, right? I've always associated that with, all right, it's springtime, everybody's kind of home for spring break, and then you got Bay Hill tournament that week, right? So I would like us to get to the point with the tournament that people start thinking, all right, the holidays have passed, we're getting in, we've been back at work for a couple weeks. What's my first event, right? Well, Diamond, here comes Diamond, right? And they got the concerts, they got the golf. It's a little bit more relaxed atmosphere at the golf course than a typical professional event. So it really kind of makes it a fun way to start the year.
Yeah. Well, I have one more question. I wondered if you were advising someone looking at the timeshare resort industry as a career path, what kind of advice might you give them to work their way up?
Well, I think you got to be open. In the hospitality industry, I moved around a lot. In the first 5 years that I was with the company, I had probably 4 or 5 different addresses. So you've got to be willing. That growth comes very quickly, but it often doesn't come at the way you envisioned
the same location.
Right? Yeah, same location. If you want growth, you got to be willing to go get it. So for me, I really had no prior knowledge of it. I grew up in Orlando, so I knew there was resorts everywhere, but I didn't really know the difference between timeshare versus regular hotel accommodations until I got with Diamond and started in the program. So it doesn't necessarily take a world of experience to get started, but you've got to get started, and you've got to be willing to put in the time and be willing to take the opportunities as they come.
Well, that's good advice. And probably some educational background is good too, such as your experience. Yeah.
But that comes in various forms, right? People in our business, it's so heavily reliant on dealing with people and knowing, how to interact. And you can't necessarily teach that, right? There's different comfort levels that, the Harvard PhD may not feel comfortable face-to-face interacting with someone. So it's not necessarily like a certain degree that is going to prove success in this industry. It's more about kind of getting in and getting going and seeing if you can cut out a career for yourself in it. Yeah.
Well, and in my opinion, I feel like the field is wide open. Particularly after COVID, there's a great demand for travel, and timeshare sometimes gets some PR slams, but it's still a great economical way to travel for families or for groups that, or even couples who want a nice place to stay with a kitchen and facilities and amenities and great people like yourself.
That's right. So. Yeah, there's sometimes you get some negative press, but for every negative comment, there's twice as many positive comments that we receive. So,
yes, exactly right. I think ARDA said recently that all of their research of asking or polling members or owners at resorts, it's something like 95% approval, or they love their timeshare. Yeah. Right. Which ARDA has
that's a big campaign. Love your timeshare campaign.
Yeah. Well, I sure appreciate your time. I don't know if you had anything in addition you wanted to add.
No, I appreciate you having me on. It's been great. It's been nice getting to know you a little bit, Sharon, and through Marge. So I've really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you, and good luck to you. We'll keep an eye on you too going forward. Hi, I'm Sharon Wilson, publisher of Resort Trades. we have been bringing you free videos in the hopes that we can help solidify the timeshare resort community and provide you, vacation ownership professional that you are, with some useful information. So when you hit the like button or share or comment, you're helping yourself too to be more integrated into the community, helping others get to know you. So be an influencer, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when we post a new video. And thank you. Good luck.